You have had some choice words about Mitt Romney in the past. I want to play something for you that you said on November 11th of last year.
I think there's some problems with Mitt Romney. Record means a lot more than rhetoric. And when you look at his record, there's some real problems. I think the liberal press will then begin to dig deeply into his record, showing not only the health care where he stood on special rights for homosexuals, where he was on the abortion issue.
So, Mr. Perkins, if you go to the Romney website on issues, it says that Mitt Romney's pro-life, he opposes gay marriage, and he opposes stem cells. What's your big problem with him?
Well, first, he supported a measure, or supports a measure like INDA, which are special employment rights based upon sexual behavior. He does have a record that does not necessarily match his rhetoric that he campaigned on 4 years ago, and has not campaigned on as much this time, although he's checked the boxes. So, I mean, he clearly has a lot of work to do to shore up support among a very important segment of the Republican voting base.
You said to CNN and my colleague Dana Bash, quote, "It's difficult for us to back a candidate our constituents don't believe in and aren't excited about." Do you think he will eventually get the evangelical conservative backing, or will they stay home?
Well, I don't think they're going to stay home. That's not the question. I mean, you had the backdrop of Barack Obama, which clearly, when you look at his policies, not theoretical, but practical, that he has imposed upon this nation, both socially and economically, it is an anathema to social conservative voters. So they're going to vote for Mitt Romney. There's not a question there. The question is the level of enthusiasm and intensity. It's turnout. What we saw with Rick Santorum is that it wasn't so much that he is a candidate and the messenger, but it was the message that people began to rally to and were enthusiastic about and were rallying their friends to support. Will people be voting in great numbers for Mitt Romney? Will they be working for him? Will they be driving a Suburban loaded with friends to the voting booth on Election Day, or will they be driving a so-called smart car with room for very few? That's going to be the key in terms of who's going to win this next election.
Mr. Perkins, there are reports out there that are saying that you will instruct your supporters to try and elect evangelical conservatives to the Senate, try to win back the Senate, try to keep the House, but not get so enthusiastic about Mitt Romney. Is that what you're going to try and do now? Is the number one objective to take back the Senate more so than get Mitt Romney elected?
Well, I think, look, we are not a branch of the Republican Party. We're not here to advance the Republican Party. We're here to advance a set of ideas and principles, which more times than not the Republicans do tend to align with. We're going to be focused on those individuals that clearly line up with the values and the concerns that many Americans have. And so we'll find there are candidates that are running for the United States Senate. There are candidates that are currently in Congress that are going to be running for re-election. That I think it's going to be a much easier effort
let me ask you this,
to get our people engaged in supporting. And so, yes, we're going to be focusing on the Senate and the House.
Would you prefer President Obama with Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, or President Romney and Majority Leader Harry Reid?
Boy, that's a pickle. What we would like to see is a conservative majority in the Senate. I don't know that we get to a conservative majority. We certainly, I think, have the opportunity to get to a Republican majority in the Senate, which is going to be important whether you have Barack Obama as president or Mitt Romney, who many conservatives are not comfortable with. I think that becomes a backstop and the ability to prevent a number of bad pieces of legislation from going forward, or policies, rather.